from RF Smart. This is Taking Inventory, a podcast all about better controlling your supply chain and improving inventory management. And now, your host, Sarah Archer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Taking Inventory with RF Smart. My name is Sarah Archer. This is a little bit of a different episode today than what we normally do. Normally on this podcast, we talk about warehouse management and inventory management, supply chain. We talk to our customers, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm really excited about it. We have in the past done a few different podcasts about our company culture. Our CEO, Michael Morales, came on. He talked about what it was like to write the 3-year vision that he put out for our company. We had Aaron Ellinger and Kyle Guthrie come on and talk about our company values, and we'll talk a little bit about some of that stuff today. But we're going to tell some stories today that I think are going to be really impactful for those of you listening. We're going to tell the stories of how RF Smart has changed our lives. And you're probably thinking, like, that seems weird because, like, it's just a WMS solution, right? But really, and truthfully, for me, I can say with all honesty that working at RF Smart has changed my life. And so I have a couple of friends with me today. Here in the studio, I have April and Leon, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves here in a moment and talk about how RF Smart has changed their lives. But a little bit about me. My name is Sarah Archer. Like I said, I work on our marketing team. I started on our marketing team in 2015, which is actually when I met April. I was an intern at RF Smart. I left, and then as I was kind of off doing my own thing, I kept RF Smart in the back of my mind because it was such a great experience as an internship. I was like, this is where I want to work. This is where I want to work. And so when I was able to get my foot in the door in 2018 and come back full time, I did. So all of that to say, I've been with our team now for about 3 years, and there's been a lot of different things in those 3 years that has really changed mine and my family's life. And so I'm excited to share that with you today. But April, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and just your experience, how you got to RF Smart?
Sure. So I actually started at RF Smart in 1996, which is obviously quite a while ago. I came upon RF Smart. We were known as ICS at the time. And it was just through like a hiring agency. I was looking for a job just to take while I was going to college. So I answered the ad or whatever for a receptionist. And since then, I've been in the receptionist. I've been in marketing. I did sales for a while, and now I've moved over into our hardware support group.
That's one of the things that I love about you. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about this, but you have really taken like every different kind of position or different area and tried a bunch of different things to kind of land where you are. But Leon, you're a little bit newer to the team. Can you tell us about how you landed here?
I was recruited by John Aneker, which he sought me out, and he immediately just started speaking about the culture at RF Smart. So I was like, I don't know, it sounds really interesting, but is it too good to really be true? So when I actually came on site for my actual interview, I got to tour. Aaron actually toured me around, and just the way people interacted and just the vibe that you got throughout the office. It was just really cohesive, and it was just very nice. It was like a family. So where I come from was a smaller company, and I was used to that family environment. So when I finally saw that in a bigger environment, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Where do I sign? And from there, it's been a year and 6 months now. So
April and Leon, thank you guys for being here. Could you just, I know that you spoke a little bit about your experience, but could you guys describe kind of a day in the life? What do you guys do as a part of your role at RF Smart?
Well, the main thing is making sure that our customers are taken care of. So we don't answer the calls for the help desk, but we have a team that takes care of that, and then they route those calls over to us. And then we go through the list. We review the issues for the customers, or we may even review the customer and say, hey, I have a relationship with this customer. We just worked on this a week ago. I'll go ahead and I'll take this case. And then we reach out to the customers directly, and we set up meetings. And what they're calling us for is they're having issues with their hardware. Something is not working. Something is not either scanning or printing right. Or maybe they're having problems with their wireless infrastructure. So we will talk them through getting it resolved. And if it turns into someone just like broke one of their devices, we'll talk them through the process of getting that repaired through the manufacturers.
So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this concept of changed life, because at RF Smart, our mission statement, our values are to transform customers and change lives. And a lot of people might think that that means like the lives of our customers. And certainly we do want to change the lives of our customers, but working at RF Smart really changes our lives. And so I wanted to kind of ask you guys, open up the floor, like, how has RF Smart changed your life? April, do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, the biggest thing about RF Smart is, it's been my life for the past 25 years. So, I started out, I think I was 23 when I started at the company, and being able to work with really great people. I mean, the reason that I've stayed for so long is because the company has been a great company. They've given me a lot of opportunities, but mostly my coworkers have all been a lot of my friends, and we've gotten along very well. If I've needed something, if I needed help, they were there to help me out, and I recognized that pretty early on within the company. I mean, we even 20 years ago. The company obviously was a lot smaller, but we all had very great relationships within the company, worked to help each other out. And, that's something that we see here today, because that's something that, George Morales had started, years ago. And then that's something that Michael has picked up and taken off with, and made sure that that's an important part of our lives at ICS.
I know that the company has grown exponentially even since, we first met in 2015. I think when I started working there's like 80 people, and now we're getting closer and closer to that 300 number if we're not there already. But people might think like, well, okay, well, how do you keep that culture? I bet that that's changed, and it really hasn't changed. I can remember when my husband's grandfather passed away last year during COVID. It was really difficult for us. We weren't able to travel and be there. And Stephen Morgan, who's the COO of the company, called me on my phone and was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I was thinking about you during this time. I'm really sorry. If there's something that we can do to support you. And it wasn't even my grandfather, it was my husband's grandfather, but really that culture, the COO knows your name and calls you to let you know that he's thinking of you. April, you come from a military background. How is that transition coming from military life into RF Smart?
Oh, well, it was very easy. I enjoyed the military life. What I liked the most about being in the military was the team mentality. And I brought that with me. So anytime I've been in a different department in ICS, I've fostered that team mentality with my teammates, and they're not just my coworkers or my teammates. And Leon can tell you, right now, like we don't go to lunch without telling each other. We coordinate what days we're coming in to make sure that we get to be together. And it's not just for camaraderie, of course, but also, if we need help, we can kind of lean over and say, hey, I need help with this. Can you help out? Can you hop on this call or something like that? And the nice thing is even Zach, our new intern, who he typically works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and he showed up today. And we said, what are you doing here? He's like, well, you guys were going to be here, so I wanted to be here too. Which really, I was like, oh.
That's really sweet. I feel like that says a lot that the intern really wants to be here and be a part of that. Leon, what about you? I know that you and I have kind of a similar background where we're both students and kind of came into RF Smart as students. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and how you were supported through that?
Well, I was in my last semester, which was a very long semester, 8 months long for a capstone program, and I was just really trying to figure out how I was going to make that work, and actually being just hired at RF Smart. So I was really stressing about that, wasn't really sure, and it took a lot of my time, but thanks to April and everyone, my manager, James, John, they just made it so easy to do business with. They literally just told me to take it at my pace, and that just made me feel a lot more comfortable, to where school was just not necessarily a burden. It was like, okay, I have time to actually work and do school, and it actually blended well together. So that to me just showed me right there from the beginning that it was just a place that I know once I graduated, let's see how far I can take this. And the fact that they still want to help you with tuition assistance if you want to further your education, I mean, what more could you ask for? So,
Leon, I know you and I share kind of a common goal of completing more education. For me, part of that goal was graduating debt-free. Mm-hmm. I knew that so kind of the backstory to that is I completed Financial Peace University through RF Smart. I did that in I think 2019. And I think maybe one of you guys has also done it. April, you've done it, right? You've done it twice. And Michael actually talks about this in his podcast episode where he talked about the 3-year vision, which will be linked for you down below. But in that podcast episode, we talked about how financial peace or this concept of living a life with financial freedom is really important to Michael and something that he wants to pass on to the people who work at RF Smart. And so they offer the Financial Peace University course for any employee and their family. So I actually completed that in 2019. Throughout that process, my husband and I ended up paying over $30,000 worth of debt in about a year and a half. We really doubled down. And so once we got out from the other side of that, and I was like, well, I really want to get my master's degree. This has been something that's been important to me for a really long time. I was like, I've got to do it debt free. I'm not going to go into debt to get this degree. And so for me, it was really, okay, so how am I going to do this? So I saved, but then I also was able to work with RF Smart, and they are paying a portion of my tuition. And so it's really special to me that they see that investment in me and in myself, and know that through giving me more education, more access to those resources, that I'm able to do more for the company and to learn more. And I don't even have a traditional marketing background, and so getting my master's degree in marketing has paid off exponentially for me. So that's, I don't know if either of you guys if you want to share, April, any of your FPU experience or anything like that, but.
They had surprised me after I finished my FPU because I said, you know what, I've got a daughter now. And kids are expensive. I need to get all my stuff together. I was driving like a cute little sports car. It was killing me on gas, and it was expensive. I had some credit card debt, not a ton, but I had some. And I said, I'm gonna use this class to really get through that. I think the FPU has been great. Like I said, I've taken it twice. Once was years ago, and once was just maybe 2017, 2018, I think. And then the company surprised me because, I just adopted my daughter. I'd taken the FPU. I traded my car in for, I think it was a Jetta. I was, trying to get, everything on track with money and make sure everything was good. And then I got the Life at ICS award, which took me by surprise.
April, you mentioned the Erlan Mendez Life at ICS Awards. Those are actually awards. We also have another one, the Crimenger Award, who are named for team members who are no longer with us that left a big impact on our company. And so I wanted to just share a little bit about Erlan Mendez. I knew Erlan when I was an intern, and then April, I know that you worked really closely with him, but he passed away unexpectedly in 2016. And the reason that they named the Erlan Mendez Life at ICS Award for him is because he was a very active person who loved to play soccer. He always encouraged people to get out and to move their bodies and to play soccer together. And so from that, they named this award. So I think it's really special that, given your really, close relationship with Erlan, that you were able to receive that award. That's really neat.
Thank you.
So, April, I love that you felt so cared for in that way. I think that one of the things that's so remarkable about RF Smart is that we're really cared for kind of from the top down. Michael really cares about us, and then he pours that into our managers and pours that into us and then into our customers. A couple of the other ways besides some of the things we've already spoken about, like Financial Peace University, financial wellness is really important to the Morales family, but also health and wellness. Michael himself is a very avid runner and athlete, and so it's really important to him that we have a health and wellness program that allows us to do some fun things like being able to exercise as a group or go out and do some fun events for our families and really put that priority on our health. We have a great HSA, a health savings account program that the company puts money into for us as a part of our benefits. And so you're able to use that for health expenses. And one more thing kind of while we're on the benefits train that I think is really unique and not something you find everywhere now these days is that we do have a 401k match program. And so the company will match your 401k up to a certain amount. It's really unique because not only are, we being cared for as employees, as people who are working for the company, but our mental health, we have a mental health program where they actually bring in a counselor that you're able to meet with and speak with. I know that last year during the pandemic, a lot of people were feeling down or depressed or had some issues and were able to leverage that mental health program for free, which is incredible. So not only is it this financial health, this mental health, this physical health, but then also the assurance that in the future your retirement is going to be well taken care of. So just really being cared for in that way allows us to care for our customers. We also have other programs that can help develop us. There's a leadership program, but we also have specifically a women's leadership program. And so that's something that's really come about in the last couple of years that I think is very unique. Just the focus on developing women leaders, especially in the tech space, like this very male-dominated space. And our leadership at RF Smart has made sure that our women's voices are being heard and that we are being taken care of in that way. And so that's really special as well. And one thing that you said, Leon, you're talking about that balance. And I think that that's something that is so difficult with work, is this work-life balance situation, right? And like, April, you have a family, you have a daughter. And so, thinking it through, over the last year especially, there's just been so many different things. We have a little bit of a flexible working situation now. Can you just speak to some of the work-life balance things that you have been able to achieve?
Sure, absolutely. So the nice thing is, typically during the week, I'm able to be home with my daughter. I don't have to work. I think that's great. I can go home and I can focus on my daughter, making sure she's taken care of, or take her to a volleyball practice or something like that. And I don't have to worry, what am I missing at work? Or if I do have to leave early because I have something, maybe doctor's appointment or something with Gabby, my daughter, I can lean on Leon or another team member, and they can take my call. So I'm out of the office tomorrow, and I realize I scheduled an appointment for tomorrow. I already got somebody to take my call for me. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll take it.
That's incredible. Leon, do you feel the same way, like that you've got this really supportive kind of work-life balance?
Oh, definitely. I feel like if there's anything that comes up in the spare moment, April's like, go ahead, I got this. Like, for instance, a little while back, I was on site, and I was just about to board a flight, and a customer called and had an issue, and I was like, oh, I'm really not available. And I immediately got in touch with April. I was like, hey, can I pass this over to you? And she didn't even think twice about it. And it's like, yeah, sure. And she took care of that customer, and it was, everything went smoothly. So I was like, I really appreciate my team, and I really hit the jackpot when it comes to the team that I have. So
that's so sweet. I agree. You really did hit the jackpot. You guys have a great team. In that you said something, you said, having each other's backs. And that's one of the values at RF Smart. We talk a little bit about that in that podcast episode with Aaron and Kyle. I'm going to leave that linked for those of you who are listening. If you want to go back and listen to that episode, it's a great stories about how times we were able to help our customers. But that's something that we take really seriously, is having each other's back. On top of this changed life, it's not just something that we, say, it's something that we really mean. And that's one of the reasons that I have really stayed at RF Smart, or have, continued my career at RF Smart. Like I said, when I was an intern, I went, I graduated from college, I went back home, I started another job. And then what I found was I was measuring all my other jobs by RF Smart. Like I was always going, okay, well, like at RF Smart, this is how they do it. And at RF Smart, the culture's this way. And I wasn't finding anything. I worked for great companies, but I wasn't finding anything that really measured up. And so when like I said, I had the opportunity to come back, I jumped on it because this is such a great place to work. I think it's also really says something about the fact, April, you've been here for so long. Like we have many people on our team who have been at the company 10 plus years. Do you guys want to share a little bit? Leon, I'll let you go first, but share, why you chose RF Smart, but then why you've stayed, and maybe even some of your future goals that you see completing at RF Smart.
The culture for one, that's what drew me in. When I experienced that it wasn't more or less all talk. I mean, the people were genuinely happy to come to work and actually love being at work. And ever since I got here, it's like I used to walk around and just brag about my team to everyone. It was just like, hey, I don't know how it is anywhere else, but I really, really am enjoying this. And so the fact that they offer so many different avenues for you to take, that's what also keeps me here. It's like, okay, what else can I try? Where else do I want to go with this? I feel like that has allowed me to think about what I want to do next when it comes to being at RF Smart and how I want to further my education. So just knowing those few things, I think that just keeps me here to see what level can I achieve next, or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like there's a lot of opportunity to grow, but then also to advance in your career, to take on new things?
Yes, definitely. And the weird thing is about it, like, I feel like I can go to anyone and talk to them about a certain position, and it's not like you get any backlash if you even inquire about maybe wanting to, try a different position. They're like, yeah, if that's something that you were interested in, sure, let's talk about it, sit down and go with it. So I feel like just being open and that transparency is awesome.
Yeah, when I started, I was just doing kind of administrative work for our team, and now I've moved roles a couple times now to where I'm doing more of this content stuff, and I'm always joking about how, like, I can't believe that I was able to turn my inability to stop talking into an actual job. But RF Smart created that for me. That wasn't something that just existed before. We didn't just do podcasts and then somebody else left and I took that job. My manager saw in me this potential to be able to host things like this or to come up with this kind of content, and created a role that would allow me to succeed. And I think that that's one of the things that is really special about RF Smart, is just because the role doesn't exist doesn't mean that it couldn't exist. They're very open to that. April, I'm kind of curious to hear a little bit about, I know you alluded to, you've moved around to a couple different departments, but just that journey for you, like how, obviously that's part of how you stayed, or why you stayed, is the opportunity to try new things. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, for the most part, it was a matter of, I really like to do something else. I enjoy this, but I feel like I want to branch out and do more. And every time my manager's been like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's see what else you want to do. I think when I was in the receptionist position, I was doing a lot of the marketing to help out the very small marketing team that we have. So it was a natural move for me to move over there. And then when I felt like really in that position, I didn't get to talk to the customers. And as a receptionist, we didn't have voicemail. We didn't have emails back then. Totally dating myself. And I spoke to every single person that called into ICS. So people at one point thought that George Morales and I were the only two people that worked there, because we're, the two main people that would answer the phone or talk to people. So I really realized that I miss talking to customers, and that's when I said, I'd like to try my hand at sales and move into that department. And they're like, all right, let's do it. Let's see how you do. And then recently moved over into the hardware support role, which is great. And every bit of it has been very accommodating by my management. Everyone I've spoken to has said, well, let's see how we can help you out. Let's see what works for you.
So I want to talk a little bit here at the end about the ways that we are crazy for our customers. Can you guys just share some stories of times that you were able to be crazy for your customers and what that means? Because when those kinds of things happen, we do have awards that people are able to earn. So I'm curious to hear what kind of awards you guys have earned from that.
Well, I know that the great one is the Rose Spot Award, where the customer will email into whether it's the link or directly to our managers and just say, April or Leon, they did a great job. Thank you so much for letting them help us, and we really appreciate it. So that reflects well on us. Plus, we get a nice little spot bonus, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that. But then Leon, I hate to put you on the spot, but he actually just flew out to see a customer last minute. So do you want to expound on that a bit?
Yeah, it was last minute. They were just having some issues, and they just really wanted someone to come and guide them, give them guidance, basically. And so I last minute jumped on a flight, and then I got there and basically assisted them in trying to get them to meet their deadline and their go live date. And it was just one of those things that I don't know, you just feel like you're responsible for a customer, and you just want to help them achieve what they're their goal, basically. So to me, having the backing that we have with all of our coworkers and management, you just kind of want to go out there and represent that when you go on site, and it helps you because that you have them waiting for anything that you may need at any given time. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think I reached out to you, April, like about 3 or 4 times just on Slack, like, hey, you got a minute? So, and I have a few questions, but not just her, even my manager, James, would just check in on me. You okay? Do you need any help? Is there anything we can do here to help you out, resolve their issues any faster? So it just really, really allowed me to go out there and show that, this is what RF Smart represents when it comes to their customers. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that wasn't just like a short trip you took. You flew from Florida to California, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't like you were just flying like up the East Coast. Like you went across the country in order to help a customer last minute, which is crazy and awesome.
Yes.
So that's a great example of being crazy for our customers. Well, April and Leon, thank you guys so much for being here, for sharing a little bit about your story. It is so special to hear about the ways that you guys have been able to advance your careers at RF Smart. Some of that has been through lateral movement. Some of it has been jumping totally different departments. I mean, that's not something that you see every single day. And so I think there's just so many things about working at RF Smart that are so unique. I loved hearing your stories. Thank you guys for being here. For those of you who are listening, if you are interested in learning more about RF Smart, you can go to rfsmart.com/careers. There's a ton of information about just our culture, about different team member stories. You may even catch a team member story from somebody sitting at this table on the website. There's information about our health and wellness programs, different things like that. So if you've got questions about those things, I'd encourage you to check out rfsmart.com/careers. But while you're here, also make sure to check out those other podcast episodes that I mentioned. And if you have not already, make sure you subscribe. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of the places you like to listen to podcasts. And we also have an email subscription now. So if you would like to receive updates about the podcast to your email, make sure you check out rfsmart.com/podcast. But thanks again, guys, for being here. And we'll see you guys real soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.